Hello, citizens of Internet. I am Dr. Ajit Virkud, Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology and ex-Head of Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology from Mumbai, India. Welcome to this masterclass on Uterine Artery Doppler in obstetrics. This is one of the most valuable yet frequently misunderstood Doppler applications in pregnancy. Today, we will move beyond outdated concepts and focus on current evidence-based practice, particularly why uterine artery notching is no longer the primary predictor, why the mean Pulsatility Index (PI) of both uterine arteries has emerged as the most robust marker, and the technical intricacies that determine whether your Doppler study is clinically meaningful or misleading. This session is particularly relevant for postgraduate exams, daily clinical practice, and high-risk pregnancy screening. The maternal side of the fetal-placental circulation is represented by the uterine artery, a branch of the internal iliac artery. Doppler ultrasound examination of both uterine arteries is employed in the first trimester to screen for early onset preeclampsia. In the second and third trimesters, Doppler ultrasound of the uterine arteries is utilized in the assessment of suspected intrauterine growth restriction. Uterine artery Doppler can assist in distinguishing placental causes of growth restriction from other causes. To comprehend uterine artery Doppler, it is imperative to grasp the concept of placentation. This is how normal placentation occurs. Spiral arteries undergo transformation from high resistance muscular vessels to low resistance high capacitance channels. This transformation ensures continuous placental perfusion with minimal systolic and diastolic variation. This is achieved in two stages. In the initial phase, around 6 to 10 weeks of gestational age, the invasion of the arterioles is confined to the decidual portion. Subsequently, in the most critical phase, which occurs between 12 to 16 weeks, it extends to the myometrial segment of spiral arterioles, rendering them truly low resistance channels. However, if there is an abnormal placentation, the second wave of trophoblastic invasion does not occur. This is observed in preeclampsia, fetal growth restriction, and placental abruption. The failure of spiral artery remodeling results in persistently high resistance uteroplacental circulation. This abnormality is non-invasively detected using uterine artery Doppler. The resistance to flow in the uterine artery decreases with advancing gestation in normal pregnancies, reflecting the trophoblastic invasion of the spiral arterioles. The uterine artery waveform changes from relatively high resistance in the non-fragrant state and first trimester to low resistance waveform in second and third trimester of pregnancy with continuous forward flow throughout diastole, as you can see in these three images. This process is complete by about 18 weeks of gestation. In pregnancies with impaired placentation, high uterine vascular resistance will persist after this time. What does uterine artery Doppler measure? Uterine artery Doppler reflects downstream placental resistance. It does not reflect fetal circulation, but is an evidence of maternal vascular adaptation. Uterine artery Doppler markers are diastolic notching and indices such as Pulsatility Index (PI), which is the most important marker, resistance index (RI), and SD ratio, which is not preferred anymore. PI is angle dependent, making it the most reliable and reproducible index. Since only diastolic notch and PI of uterine artery Doppler are measured, I will only discuss these two markers. Uterine artery notching refers to diastolic deflection observed during early diastole. This phenomenon is attributed to the elastic recoil of non-remodeled spiral arteries. Historically, uterine artery notching was extensively utilized in second trimester screening for preeclampsia. The presence of bilateral notching was associated with an elevated risk of preeclampsia. However, in contemporary obstetrics, uterine artery notching is no longer employed due to its inherent limitations. The limitations of uterine artery notching are highly subjective. The assessment of uterine artery notching can be subjective and may vary among observers. Poor inter-observer reproducibility. The reproducibility of uterine artery notching among different observers is limited. Potential disappearance with gestational age. Uterine artery notching may diminish as gestational age progresses. The presence of uterine artery notching can be influenced by various factors, including probe pressure, sample site, angle of insonation, and gain settings. Several studies have demonstrated that the sensitivity and specificity of uterine artery notching are inferior to those of PI based models. Consequently, uterine artery notching is no longer considered an independent screening criteria for preeclampsia. While it may still be reported, clinical decisions are primarily guided by mean PI value of uterine arteries. I will explain to you why mean PI is superior. Modern evidence, particularly from the Fetal Medicine Foundation, as per trial and large population screening studies, have unequivocally demonstrated that mean PI of both uterine arteries serves as a more robust, objective, and reproducible predictor of preeclampsia compared to uterine artery notching. The key advantages of PI are: it is qualitative and not subjective, it is expressible as a mean difference, multiples of median MOM, it can be seamlessly integrated into multi-marker screening models. Mean uterine artery PI predicts early onset preeclampsia, that is, preeclampsia that occurs before 34 weeks, placental insufficiency, and fetal growth restriction. Uterine artery Doppler examination is done in the first trimester, specifically between 11 and 13 weeks of gestation, as part of comprehensive screening tests to predict the development of preeclampsia. This examination combines the mean uterine artery PI value with the following maternal risk factors: maternal age, mean arterial pressure, and placental protein A1 PAP-A or placental growth factor PLGF levels. In the second and third trimesters, that is from 20 to 24 weeks of gestation, the uterine artery Doppler examination identifies women at risk of developing late onset preeclampsia and fetal growth restriction. Additionally, it assists in determining the appropriate surveillance intensity and the necessity for continued aspirin administration. First, I will describe the transabdominal approach for uterine artery Doppler study. Obtain a mid-sagittal scan of the uterus, identify the cervix and internal os. Apply color Doppler, identify the external iliac vessels. Locate uterine artery at its crossover with the external iliac artery lateral to the cervix as shown in this picture. The Doppler sample volume is placed about 1 centimeter downstream from the crossover point. Never sample too close to the placenta or arcuate branches. The other method is transvaginal approach to uterine artery Doppler. It is more precise and reproducible method. Transvaginal uterine artery Doppler is performed by identifying the uterine artery at the level of the internal cervical os using color Doppler, sampling both sides with small gate, low wall filter and an angle of insonation less than 30 degrees. The transvaginal route offers superior spatial resolution, shorter insonation distance, and more accurate angle alignment. It is ideal for early pregnancy Doppler study, that is between 11 to 13 weeks, first trimester preeclampsia screening, obese patients, and retroverted uterus. Precise sampling technique is as follows: sample gate 2 millimeters, angle of insonation less than 30 degrees, never exceed 60 degrees, wall filter low, gain just below noise level. Ask the patient to hold a breath during Doppler waveform study. Obtain at least 3 identical waveforms. Perform Doppler study on both right uterine artery and left uterine artery to obtain their average PI values. Measure the right and left Pulsatility Index and calculate the mean value using this simple formula. This mean value is used for risk prediction, MOM calculation, and clinical decision making. Let me show you some actual examples. Look at this uterine artery Doppler waveform. It is characterized by RI of 0.40 and PI of 0.50, that is, it is less than 0.55, indicating low resistance. There is no post-systolic notching. This indicates normal uterine artery Doppler study. Patients with normal uterine artery waveforms on both sides are at less than 1% chance of developing preeclampsia. Here's a waveform from another patient. Uterine artery Doppler is characterized by PI of 1.25 and RI of 0.77, that is greater than 0.55, indicating high resistance flow. There is bilateral post-systolic notching. It is an abnormal uterine artery waveform. Please note, if the notch is unilateral, it needs to be on the placental side to be significant. Also, be aware that there is a paradigm shift in the uterine artery Doppler waveform study from visual notch identification to objective reproducible mean PI measurement. This patient is at risk of developing preeclampsia and or fetal growth restriction. Every obstetrician or sonologist performing uterine artery Doppler study must be aware of common errors like sampling the arcuate artery instead of uterine artery, applying excessive probe pressure, which can produce an artificial notch, insufficient angle correction, using single artery PI, and overemphasizing notching without considering mean PI. Clinical interpretation of bilateral uterine artery Doppler study is as follows. Progressive fall in mean PI with advancing gestational age indicates low resistance waveform and is considered normal with no risk for developing preeclampsia or fetal growth restriction. Mean PI greater than 95th percentile is considered abnormal. It indicates increased placental resistance and is a strong predictor of early onset preeclampsia, severe fetal growth restriction, and adverse perinatal outcome. Remember, isolated notching without raised PI is not clinically significant. Following are the take-home messages from this masterclass. Uterine artery Doppler assesses maternal placental perfusion. Notching is observer dependent and outdated. Mean uterine artery PI has replaced visual notching as the primary predictor. Correct technique determines accuracy more than the machine. Proper Doppler is equal to powerful prediction. Poor Doppler equals false reassurance. I will end with this quote. In modern obstetrics, uterine artery Doppler is no longer about seeing a notch. It is about measuring vascular resistance accurately using mean Pulsatility Index (PI). If you want to know more about this topic or any other topic in obstetrics and gynecology, please refer to my books Modern Gynecology, Modern Obstetrics, and Practical Obstetrics and Gynecology, and other books. For purchase inquiries, contact me on this WhatsApp number. I have also published 2 question answer books which are particularly useful for exam going students. These are Clinical Cases in Obstetrics, 1000 plus questions and answers, and Clinical Cases in Gynecology, 1000 plus questions and answers. You can also follow me on other social media platforms like Facebook or Meta, Blogspot, and Instagram. The links are given here. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and also subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thank you for watching.